memories store up in your brains. Things where you want to store up in your brains too. Because there's nothing coming to you outside and going in your brains, you know, when I'm going to say, you know, we just coming in my head a while ago. I mean, everybody use it still. I'm going to say, boy, something just coming in my mind, you know. Not coming in your mind. It's in there already.
Boy, alpha.
That a boil bickle enough. River flood and rain a fall. Rain a fall, but dirty tough.
Kaboom!
But remember, you know, great minds discuss ideas, you know. Average minds discuss events. And small minds discuss people.
Good day, my people. Bless up on yourself, big up on yourself. You don't know me there with Uno again. Yes, man, me there with Uno. Yeah, man, me there with another motor. Yeah, fan. From the cutting edge. May I tell you some people, boy, me don't know what going on yesterday down in Washington. But I never got work yesterday. I hear people are call me, some of my loved ones them call me and I tell me, say, boy, if you're not there work, you know, you're there work, you're there hoping you're there work, because boy, the things that are going on in Washington, I know man not gonna look good. I know they know some man at my work, them just care for me, and them I say, don't go work. I tell them, say, boy, I'm there home, and them I say, don't go work. It not look good, it not look good, it not look good. Things are going, don't go no work. If you're not going to work yet, don't go no work. I tell you, say, boy, if I'm there in America for so many years, I never see nothing like this yet. Never see nothing like this. My people, me and Mutabaruka said in program around 30 years. Well, me do my calculation and Muta program around 29 years, because me I watch Muta program from first Muta program come out when I was like 19. I was sitting on my back step doing a denture. Yeah, man, processing a denture. Because you don't know, me know if you do denture too. I'm a dental technician, my people. And them the time them me young, around 19. I'm up on my back step I process a denture. Me and my little girlfriend on the side. I watch me. The first program Muta put out. You see me I say? I was like 19. And me leave Jamaica like 93. So, and them time I not even turn 21 yet. So, yeah, Muta program around 29 years. Yes, around 29 years. And then again, me I tell you something, I watch Muta from back then. And yet still, me think for myself, set speed. Yes, me watch Muta program and me take out and me take out. Me think for myself. I'm a thinker. So I say, like me hear Muta say, nothing really coming at your head. You see me I say, me not just take that so. Because I think you develop new things while you're going. So you have new thought, you have new thinking. So I think new things going on your head. Because things what you think about is things that you learn on the journey. That's what I say. Things that you're seeing, things that you hear, things that you feel. You learn new things. So new things keep coming in, man. So I say when Muta say, I not bash your Muta say, but me personally think new things coming. Because the more you live, the more you learn. And you will think about stuff now where you wasn't thinking about yesterday. Because you went outside today and you learned something new. So you gotta think about that. That I got processing in your head too. So new things come in, Muta. That's what me I say. So when I say, well anyway, my people, me not come around after the whole heap of long talk. Me just come around after giving out the cutting edge with Mutabaruka. Big up on yourself, bless up on yourself. One love and peace out. Kick it and take it away with Muta. And then step in, and a stepping razor at the cutting edge, man.
This is the cutting edge on IRFM. We're there with you next Wednesday night. Well, for those of you who now follow up the news, boy, I tell you, you miss a serious American drama today. May I tell you, never before in the history of America what took place today happened. A serious thing. The invasion of Congress, the House of Congress. What a thing, what a thing. Thousands of people go down upon the House of Congress when the people them in there do them work. bust all the door for go in, mash up glass and all them things, and go inside, you cock up all them foot. Nancy Pelosi, desk and all them something there. Woman get shot and dead. Some people get injured. Only 5 people go in the hospital. May I tell you, this is a serious thing for really America go through all of that. Yes, third world country. Yes, the president and mash up the resident before him come out. He's hell-bent on doing some damage before him leave there. Because him say them thief him, them rob him. May I tell you, Donald Trump do easy. May I tell you, I don't know how much people that I watch it, but it's about 3 hours I was glued to see this thing unfolding in front of my eyes in America. It is, and I will say it unbelievable again because it happened. But every one of the reporters, all the Republicans, them are frightened, you know. All the Republicans, them were going at the house now where I help Trump to do the craziness, you know. All them get nervous at all when them say democracy in America fall down flat in front of them face. The people, them rush the front door of Washington, rush it. And when them rush it now, the police, them have to step back and then them just bust the door and go in at the Congress house with the man them stand up there. We are telling you, glass are broke, this a mash up. I see a man go inside and go cock up in foot pants, Nancy Pelosi desk. No, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I say, I say unbelievable again, you know, because it is believable because it happened. But no one expect something like this will happen in the United States of America because it is United States of America. How could that happen? How could that possibly happen? One man. Donald Trump. One man.
Of course, this is not just shameful behavior by President Trump. It is a shame in front of the world. It is an embarrassment in front of the world. And let's go to Clarissa Ward right now, who is in London. Clarissa, what is the reaction from world leaders to this? Let's start with American allies. What are they saying?
Well, I think there's a mixture of shock, disbelief, horror. We are hearing very strong words coming from world leaders like Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister here in the United Kingdom. He said disgraceful scenes in the U.S. Congress. The United States stands for democracy around the world, and it is now vital that there should be a peaceful and orderly transfer of power. That sentiment also echoed by the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who said Canadians are deeply disturbed and saddened by the attack on democracy in the United States, our closest ally and neighbors. Violence will never succeed in overruling the will of the people. Democracy in the U.S. must be withheld, and it will be. And we're definitely seeing as well, Jake, the gloves are coming off. If any one of the U.S.'s allies had tried to adhere to diplomatic norms, had tried to avoid calling President Trump out by name and laying this blame at his feet, we're now seeing a change in that, where he's seeing the Irish foreign minister saying a deliberate assault on democracy by a sitting president and his supporters. The world is watching, Jake.
Of course, it's not just our allies that are watching, it's our enemies as well. Countries that do not stand for democracy, do not stand for human rights, do not stand for the freedoms that America tries to serve as the shining city on a hill, as Ronald Reagan once said. What are they saying about this, those who wish the United States ill?
Well, it's interesting. Quite a few of them are still remaining circumspect at this stage. Presumably, they don't want to be seen to be gloating. But what I found very interesting, Turkey, which is not necessarily an enemy of the U.S. or anything like that, though there have certainly been strong disagreements, particularly in recent years, with President Erdogan at the helm. They released a statement saying, "We invite all parties in the U.S. to temperance and common sense. We believe that the U.S. will overcome this domestic political crisis and maturity, and we recommend that our citizens citizens in the U.S. stay away from crowded places. Jake, this is exactly the kind of language that we are used to reading in a U.S. press release to American citizens who might be in a city in the Middle East during a crisis or a riot of this nature. It is astonishing to see this sort of language being used by a country like Turkey, warning its citizens of the dangers of walking around the United States Capitol.
All right, Clarissa Ward in London, thank you so much. That is so discouraging to hear, but it is not unexpected. We've been talking about this now for weeks. How can the United States, and look, the United States doesn't always live up to the standards that we hold for ourselves or that we impose upon the world, but how can the United States issue a statement about an election in Belarus or an election in Venezuela when the United States is experiencing this right now because of President Trump and his enablers?
I mean, look, the United States is not, as you said, always, right about everything or always, doing the right thing in accordance with our values. That's clearly not the case. But in this particular case, when it comes to the fundamentals of democracy, from beginning to end, this has been an embarrassing chapter in American history. From the point at which President Trump, even before the votes were counted, was calling for the count to stop because he didn't want, additional votes to be counted that might come in for Joe Biden, to the point where he continued to talk about fraudulent votes that he just claimed were fraudulent because they weren't for him. These are all things that in another country would be signs of, a democracy that was not strong, that was failing, that was backsliding. And here we are now with our Capitol building having been vandalized by violent mobs. That's something we have not seen. We have not seen that in this country in a very, very long time. We have never seen American citizens charging our Capitol and barging in and putting lawmakers in a lockdown. And I think the significance of that is obviously going to be historic, but it's going to have lasting impacts on the United States and our ability as a nation to export democracy around the world, which is a key pillar of our foreign policy.
A horrible day for America, a horrible day because the President of the United States is not able to acknowledge reality and because he has inspired his followers to commit many acts of domestic terrorism.
You know, say, the President of America has risen up against his country with thousands of people to cause chaos and confusion, death and destruction in our own country. That is not only treason, that is sedition. That is all of the things them where a so-called third world country would have put anybody who do that at the firing squad. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? For those of you who never see it, go up on your YouTube channel and go up on one of them NBC or MSNBC and look on it, man. I tell you, it's like a movie. It's like you watch a movie, man. It's like you watch a movie. And you know the way they think about it? It's like they never expect it so terrible that enough police wasn't there. They have to send for police all over the place, They have to send for police, the National Guard. They have to send for everybody to come quell the thing. When you're looking at tear gas, all sort of thing are going down there, right in front of the Congress building. Anyway, I'm glad to see I live to see this thing, because it's the ultimate thing for witness. This time, especially the first month of the year, when everybody have fight the COVID. And now, even when name Joe Biden, have to come on TV and say, look at Donald Trump, say something to the people them know. And him own Republican them go to him and say, look here, you can't make this, you can't stop this thing, you can't make this thing continue that way, Because it reach a stage now where This is out of democracy now. This is third world thing I go on so now. And the man come on the radio and say, them thief the election from way. But guess what? We no go home. But look here, them nah get you from this, but them thief the election from way. But I am imploring you to go home. That is what him say. Then now a man jump up. A man jump up on a jeep and say, the president say we must all go home. A man jump up on the jeep and say, liar tell. The president say, we not go nowhere. I tell you, it's funny. Shane, you see it? You didn't see it on the TV?
Yes, man.
You never
yeah,
see
man.
Shane? Shane have no time to watch TV. Shane have no time to watch TV. Oh, you see it?
Yeah, man.
No,
Watch it, man.
unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable, Rasta.
Everything
I am
was
glad that I was watching. I sit down there for about 3 hours. I sit down there, you know. Oh, gosh, man, I tell you. So now them afraid say America cannot say anything to other countries again about them democratic process and thing. America, as you hear the woman said a while ago, on the news clip there, them not have them can't go to our next government and say, we must practice democracy in our country because them president now practice it. Him is a dictator. And it's not done, you know. It's not done. I really want to find out if them continue the counting of the electoral votes. I want to find out if them count it. If them continue. Because, may I tell you, yeah, man, that's what we need to do. Brighten our vision. All the year we are going, it's all about brightening your vision. So we can really see what we want this year. Spiritually, physically, mentally, health-wise, wealth-wise, we need to really sit and analyze the situation at this time, you know. Yeah, man, you have to have a plan. Yes? Because if you don't have a plan right now, you know, the thing go topsy-turvy upon you. You're frightened, Mr. Say, the year done again. So much want to drop out. As we talk about drop out, Sister Charmaine. Who I mean, it's Sister Charmaine. You remember that sister there, DJ sister, from in the 80s? She passed away, you know, shown there. Yes.
Me.
Sister Charmaine was a very popular DJ, though. Very popular DJ. So she passed away. You remember it? She didn't say remember it. Yeah, man. But it's a really... well, I don't know. It's the first artist I hear pass away since the year start. But we hear some other people pass away, like the iconic Hotelier, the mogul. May I tell you? Butch Stewart, the mogul of hotels and hotel Sanders, hotel beaches, and all these places. Well, I tell him, son, gone clear now. Yes, son inherit all of that. I don't know how I'm going to manage it. I don't know if him have the experience, but I guess him have it. It's a youth to me say all the while still, but never have no big conversation with him. But him have ATL, him have all them hotel in the Bahamas, him have hotel in St. Lucia, all these places. Then we see a GLP, what them call them, organizer, dead from COVID. Yeah. I don't know, old man, them, I don't know, old man, not an old man, in the 50s, dead from COVID. We see the COVID thing a sneak up how we do it. We see the COVID thing a sneak up how we do it. You know what I say? Every week, at least 400 people, every week, 400 people get infected with COVID. It might not look that way there, but it has sneak up. It has very sneak up away. But we'll continue. We know what to do. If you just do it and just go and do it and just go and do it till the thing go down. You understand? Because it will go down. It will go down. It not going to stay in favor. A joke business, if anybody feels it will stay in favor. It not going to stay in favor. You understand? So we have to just know if you do and just do it. You understand? Yes, Yami Bowler. Anybody know Yami Bowler? Tell them some Mutabaruka, I yell him up. Long time I don't see Yami Bowler, yes. A long time I don't go see a whole heap of people because the moving and moving kind of get restricted to the point where nobody don't really want to move still, but if you have to, you just move. I just saw it go, you know. If you don't have to move, don't move, but if you really have to move, move. Yes, I just saw it go. Because we can't just stiff up. Stiff up now, you get away and start to get miserable, you understand? So if you want to move, you just move. Okay, so here we are saying now. We want to talk about logics, and how we define ourselves in the context of European logics. It's something we talk about all the while. Something we talk about all the while, you know. But you see logics, facts, people use their mind and them understanding of things to get a logical explanation to things that them think them understand after them use them logical mind. But I want to tell you, say, a whole heap of time when we feel, say, we're logical, it is really not based upon how we perceive the thing, but how other people and what they inculcate in a way to rationalize and reason out things in a certain way. And if you don't reason it out in a certain way and come to the conclusion that them give as a logical explanation to certain things, then you're going to say you're stupid, or you just don't make no sense, or you need to go to school. Now I notice African people, no matter sometimes always say we're conscious and in our African-centered mindset and perspective, we always use European way of seeing things or understanding things, of the hallmark of knowing. So when we say we know something, we already hear about the thing, rationalize it in our mind and say, well, I saw it go or I don't saw it go. But most of the time when it is not American, when it is European, white, we always come up to the conclusion and say, this is how it's supposed to go. And when we look upon African-centered logics and philosophy, a whole heap of people don't really want to deal with African-centered logics. Because to them, African-centered logic stand by itself in some primitive world. European logics stand for the world. So you have to look through the eyes of white people if you understand not only the world but yourself. And really and truly, it's not serving us no purpose. At least when we wake up and realize it. The African way of seeing things is totally different from the European way of seeing things. But we are so embellished in white supremacy that we cannot look outside of them eyes to see what is real and what is illusion. And a good example is the Bible. The Bible is one of the most irrational, philosophical book you will ever meet upon. But guess what? It is the hallmark of all logical explanation for the invention of God, for something supposed to be historical, and it historically referred to continuously as history, when we know and we understand now that a lot of it is not history. A lot of it is not history. But we can't come out of it because we done put that in our consciousness already. Said, look here, this is the thing, this is the way, this is the truth, and this is the light. There's no other explanation to the beginning of the earth. Man and woman, how them come on the earth. There's no other explanation. Because if you look outside of that explanation, you're going to say a foolishness. So most black people in the Western world or so, looking at the context of, watch out, if it is written in the book, it's most true because it's inspired men write it. Inspired men live on earth here right now. People are inspired every day. Young people inspired to do things that is unbelievable. The farmers is inspired by nature to do certain things to them plant that is unbelievable. We have to understand how is it that every time we think rational, the rational behavior comes after the thinking, and then what come is a European way of behavior. Because you look at, for instance, you look at a sister and she have an all her whatsoever, this and that, and you tell her, I say, you know, I mean, you look good still, you know, but you don't wear African print. No, you're mad. African print, what you talking about? I don't know Africa, what? I don't know African. Them still talk that way there, you know. No, you can't explain to a woman like that, I have a rational reason to lie about Africa, when she start off with the premise that she is not African, she never got Africa yet, and she know nothing about them because something, their Rasta business that or whatsoever that. So right away she assure you how she use fair thinking, that she think is fair thinking, and try to overpower your conversation when you are telling her about Africa and them something there. And Africa is a real place. It's not like Africa is a mythology. Africa is a real place. When you look on Europe, Europe is a real place, but Europeans do things according to Europeans do things. African do things according to African do things. But because we don't know the history of Africa, we don't know the historical reference point that brought us here, we can't comprehend anything unless it is in the shadow of European logics. European logics define our whole being. European logics define how we think about food, clothes, how we think about sex, how we think about health, how we think about wealth, how we think about life in general. Because the ultimate European logics is God, and how him perceive and believe God is, and him put it towards you, and you say, yeah, well, that's how it go. You can't come out of that. And if you hear about any other thing outside of that, you start to label it as evil, as devil. How them get to do that? How them get to label other people's culture as evil? Because it do include the European logics. And I talk about God continuously because God is the centerpiece of all, of most people in the West here, when they talk about spiritual consciousness, spiritual awakening, and religious belief system. Them don't know no other reference point. Most Jamaicans don't have no other reference point for deal with spirituality and religion, but the Bible. That's the only thing them have to guide them and protect them from other things that them claim say no recognize this idea, this thought, this thinking. Yes, there's millions, billions of people in the earth who don't give credence to that thinking. But then they will say, yeah, but them people there, them are practice something against God. And then them start to refer, to the Bible, where the Bible say about them people there who now worship the God of the Bible. It's a weird thing. And African people right now in Africa find themselves get claustrophobic in that thinking. So them start to perpetuate the same craziness that has enslaved the world for hundreds of years. And this enslavement is seen as the most logical explanation for man's purpose on earth, for man's way of being good or evil, because them show you that too. So it's either you're good or evil. And the good and evil is based upon how Europeans see good and how Europeans see evil. So anything outside of that is devil business. How them get to think that? How them get to maneuver ourselves into for them thinking? And when we start to think outside of for them thinking, you hear say, boy, right now, I'm mad, we might get mad, or is evil, we get evil. Everything outside of the European logics is evil or madness. How is that? Europeans just step on the earth just the other day, they're never there all a while. Most nations are there before Europeans. Most nations are there from earth before the Europeans. Europeans never there when African people are move out of Africa and are going to Asia. And find themselves end up in a Europe and all these places. There was no Greece and Rome. There's no Greece and Rome when you did have Egypt and all these places. Kemet. When we did talk about Isis, Horus, and Osiris, there was no God in Europe. It just come the other day. And they manipulate all of these ancient philosophies that come out of other people's culture and then bring it, twist it, turn it, bring it round to fit them kind of way and then push it back to we now. And then we get lost in how them interpret history and how them view spirituality and them give us something named religion, which we never have no religion. We never have no religion. Religion was something that was given to us. What we do every day is what we call our religion. Religion was not set aside for certain times. Maybe certain rituals are set aside for certain times, but the idea and the consciousness of life, the idea of the consciousness of all things connected, was not part of European way of understanding self. When the Africans, when the Native American, all of them did say everything connected, whether it is animate or inanimate, everything connected. That was a no-no for Europeans. Or you can go talk about, you look upon stone and you look upon tree and them things. No, human beings is human beings, animal are animal, tree are tree, and separate everything. We never used to separate nothing because we used to say everything is one. Everything come from the same source. Everything come from the same source. And we start to now say, make us separate ourselves. And we start to follow for them thinking. That is why now we develop a sense of not wanting to see ourselves in the next person. You know, there's a saying in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it's coming forth by there, that to see yourself in things, you have to see the God in things. You have to see yourself in a things. And if you see yourself in a things, you don't want to harm or hurt that thing. And that is really what is happening, that we now see ourselves in the next person. We're disconnected from the next person. Or we are disconnect from the next person. We can't disconnect from the next person. You know, see, when people say ancestor, some people feel say, well, not some people. A whole heap of people nowadays that talk about ancestor, ancestor, ancestor. It's like them going back to the dopey thing. Yeah, it's like the same dopey thing, like angel or watch over me and everything. Nobody no angel now watch over you. The ancestor that you talk about is you. You is the ancestor that you talk about. When you talk about ancestor in long time ago, it's you said one. Because if your ancestor never exists, you couldn't exist. And if you never exist, there will be no argument about ancestors. So when I'm going to talk about him ancestor, I am my ancestor. I am my ancestors. I allow my ancestor to live, and my ancestor reciprocate and allow I to live. That is not something them show you inside of the Christian world, because they want to separate everybody and then give you an idea or a thinking that you is of a lesser God, you is lesser than whatsoever you is. So then bring about all these little this and them little that and that, and when we show them certain ideas, they make you feel like, say, boy, right now we don't know what we are saying. You know? We have certain African stories that is said in the village. When the people them sit down and talk about certain stories. And these stories is same thing like when you sit down and talk about Bible story. And people actually believe some of them story too in Africa. Yes, a whole heap of stories that is said in Africa, people actually believe it, which is really amazing that people believe certain stories. And then in Europe, them have them stories too. The problem with the European stories is that them overshadow our stories. And our stories becomes a non-entity in the argument. The stories like Brother Nancy and Brother Tukuma. The stories like what Aesop used to talk about and all these things. A whole heap of stories out there where Africans embellish themselves in and know, say, well, yes, these stories help to push the society. These stories help to push the system very far. So we look upon it and we say, but wait, how we reach this level, how we can't find back where we are up to now. Or we can't find back where we are. Is it because every day we have to think about with food, clothes, and shelter, and them have we in a system of 9 to 5, or them have we in a system of, whatsoever we are thinking about, which is not we? When you get to think about you, sometimes people don't think about themselves because them not have something, Yeah, them not have something, so them have to figure out or forget it. But we don't talk about having something and not getting it. We are talking about you as an individual, as a person upon earth. There's no other one like you or you on earth. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that out of the 7 point how much billion people upon the earth, you is the only one that is you? You can't find a duplicate of you. Maybe you can find people who behave like you, but it's not you. And you as an individual cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Nothing can occupy two spaces at the same time. You see it? So you are an individual unto yourself, and that's a unique thing to be. But guess what? We are connected. We're connected to everything upon the earth, because everything where upon the earth come from the earth, whether it's mechanical, whether it's whatever, all the plastic come from the earth. There's nothing upon the earth that never come from the earth. We are part of the earth. And we have to love the earth. We have to love nature. We have to love the animals. See it? We don't grow up for love animal. We don't grow up for love the trees them. Cause you have some guys that chop down the tree them like crazy. Them a chop down the tree like them no want to see no tree. I just pure concrete and steel. And that is what create the problem in the earth where they call global warming. Is the earth a respond to human being way to deal with themselves? Because when you destroy the planet, destroy yourself, you destroy yourself. Because there might be a time when you can't exist on the earth and the earth are still there. Because you make it so miserable for human beings live on the earth. Them are make it so miserable for human beings live on the earth. That it's going to be such a way that it now go easy for human beings deal with what them are deal with. It now go easy. So when we are see it and I say, but wait, look how war are going over there, some people are kill people. And them are kill the people them. And them are say them are do it in the name of, democracy. Them are do it in the name of socialism. Them are do it in the name of whatsoever. Them are say them are do it in the name of. But guess what? It now benefit human beings, the sum total of human beings, because them are used for them understanding of how the earth supposed to run. And them a try run it for them way. Them a try run it for them way. Them not come together with human beings and say, this is how it wants. I don't know so well, boy, right now. You can't have, you want to do something over here, so, and you want me over here to do the same thing like you. When my experience over here is so totally different from your experience over there, so. So how you come impose what you have for me, and because me not accept it over there, so. You go attack my country, you go attack my family, you go do all sort of thing. See, you go say, boy, me is a wicked, me not righteous, me ungodly, me worship the devil, all of these things, because me not see it like you over there, so. And black people, more than ever before, now find themselves in that situation where they might try to tell people, say, them are devil, because they might refer to a book that is not uplifting them as a total race of people. Maybe some little individual find solace tonight and run through the crevice. But as a sum total, like how the Europeans them, totally control. Yes. You have something named white privilege. Totally white privilege control. See, black people have to scrape. They have to scrape to find that little hole, that little bust out hole. To go through. And then when you go through, you have another man run back and dry you out back. They will dry you out back, And I say, where you go? You're mad? See a fool thing that. Man must just shut him eye and jump, man. Shut your eye and jump. I don't say it go. That's it. This is the cutting edge at IRFM. The top line is that the earth no see no individual as above none. The earth no look upon dog, cat, lion, tiger, human beings and say, all right, me prefer you than you over there. So no. There's no distinction between human beings and animals as it relates to how the earth run things. And I said, the earth now go separate man from animals when it comes on to building destruction or falling down. If it fall down and you're in the way, you're going to fall down. Whether you're a human being or you're an animal. When I say animal, I talk about 4-foot animal, you understand? So when you hear man say God make man have dominion over all the animal them, that is what I call a crazy thinking. That is why man behave and reacts to the animal species. It's a crazy thinking if human being believes say they were made to have dominion. And them go as far as not only have dominion, but them want to kill the animal them too. Because them don't see themselves in these animals. They want to kill the animal them and eat them too. That is really the part that was terrible. Yes. You know, the thing about indigenous people is that when them chop down a tree, them understand what them doing. And chopping down a tree is not just something them want to do because them just love chop. When an animal get killed, it's not because them just want to kill an animal for sport like white people. White people kill animal for sport. We never used to do that. Long time we kill animals is for food or when we are in danger from the animal them. People come from Europe and kill animals and take the head and put on them wall. That is the mindset. You understand? So when we look on the oneness of life, oneness of nature, we continue to say the same thing. And when I stop saying it is one life. One life. Not a different life. People say your life and my life. You don't have no life. You don't have no life. Life is something we're just dead there. Life is not an individual perspective. Life is just life. When people want to own people's life. No. The manifestation of that life is what makes it different. How the life is manifested in earth. That is what makes it different. But there's no your life and my life. And you preserve your life. Your life is not your life. Your life belongs to the cosmos. Your life belongs to nature. Your life belongs to every other thing that combine itself with nature. Every other thing that combines itself with the cosmos. That is what life is. You know, man, I say, why my life, and that's why I'm treated so. Because I see that a man's life as theme life. When you look on a man, you say, you, and him say, them, you and them, make them separate from me. So when I say me, and me I talk about. When I say you, and you me I talk about. When we say them, there's a whole heap of you me I talk about. But there's no you and me and them as it come on to life. The manifestation, when the life get caught up in a single body, it takes unto itself a different route, a different way, and a different perspective. And it starts to separate itself from the oneness of life. The oneness of life. Now, when I say might sound mad, that's what I talk about now. Human, European logics don't allow you to think that way. Because when you start to think that way, people going to say you're mad. You see, if you start to say everything is one life, well, if people are going to say madness, Mutata, going to talk to listen to them fool boy they far. If you look on people and tell them, so watch out. You are connected with everything. You are connected with everything. You never just come out of the, just pop and man, clip a finger, you come out. You come out of a womb, and that womb is a human being. And that human being come out of the next womb. And everything come from the earth. Everything come from the earth. Whether you use a human being, whether you use a tree, whether you use a dog, cat, anything, all of these things, living things, come from the earth. So we have one source. And we come and manifest that source in different ways, different understanding. Some of we develop what we call human intelligence. Some of we develop, some things develop animal instinct. You know, But our ancestral legacy shows those things. So what we are saying is not something far-fetched. It's something where the ancient them used to recognize that it keep them before the Europeans come there and the Arabs come there. When the Arabs come there, it damage everything. And then the white man come damage it even more. We are talking about beyond Bible. Beyond Bible that we are talking about. When we are talking, say, it's one life. One life. There's no different life. There's manifestation of that life. And we're not going to stop saying it. I mean, we say it all the while, but we keep saying it because we know it have to reach out there. Just like how people read Psalms every day and the same Psalm them I read for years. And them not stop reading it. That's something I say it. I say it because I say it same way for years. I mean, not stop saying it. Different manifestation of flesh, one life. This is what it's all about. There's no you and me life. People want to walk around feel say it's you and me life. And the reason why when them say you and me life, them get so personal with it that him don't respect the other person. But if you didn't know, say him and the other person are carry the same thing. Move with the body. Not there. Not there. But life continue. It's not your life continue. That's why when people talk about them say them dopey. Them say dopey and the dopey attack to them. And is them great grandmother attack to them. And them husband come back and attack to them. Them thing there come like joke. It's joke business. It's some people that conjure up certain things in them head and are come forth with all these things. Life is life. And if you don't, if you don't have a body to hold that life in, if that body move, the life not come out of it, there's nothing that is coming out of the human being when him dead. People keep saying that. Just like how them say four corners of the world, like the world square. That is what white people used to say, I would take it up. Four corners of the world. There's no four corners of no world. The world is a round thing. It do have no four corners. But people normally say that and don't feel no way to say it. You contradict that now, you say you're idiot. Because you come here four corners. Just like how man I say, life come out of you. When you're dead, like, the life come out of you. When the life come out of you and God, the life not gone nowhere. Life don't go nowhere. Life is life. It just dead there. It just dead there. It is circulated by different flesh, different things. It's like a house, an open land. We keep saying it. It's like an open land. Open land have a big space. When you put a house in that space, the space don't go nowhere. The space is confined within the four walls of the building. When you burn down the building, the space don't go nowhere. The space still there. People want to feel, say, yes, the space can be used for many things. When you build a house, when you build a building in a space, you have space outside and your space inside. The only thing that divides the space outside from the inside is the block them. The block them now go and decide what you use the space inside of the block them to do. So it's either you're going to turn it into some dance hall, or you're going to turn it into some rum bar, or you can turn it into a church. It's the same space. It's just a different building blocks around it, make you feel that the space different. It's the same space, it's just what you use the space to do in that space. But guess what? A man can use it as a church, you know, and then the next man come rent the same building and use it as a warehouse. A man can use a building as a church, and the next man come rent the building and build it and use it as a warehouse. But guess what? It's the same space. And if you broke down the building, The space not gone nowhere. And human being occupy a space. All living things occupy a space. And if you kill the man, the space don't go nowhere. Life not gone nowhere. The life not gone nowhere. The life not come out of him. There's no life to come out of him. It's more the building come out of the space. It's more the building come out of the space. This is the cutting edge, going through the logics. One thing we do as African people, especially in this part of the world, we're afraid to read, look upon, or even think about something different other than where them teach we or where them indoctrinate we to think. So if you tell a man, say, boy, you ever read a Buddhist book yet, or you ever read a Tao book or a Confucianism book or a Quran? They must say, no, sir, I don't need that. I have the Bible. So right away you find out, say, boy, I really know that is where his knowledge gone. His knowledge gone, so he don't need nothing else more than the Bible. But the problem with that is that when him hear a next man expose theme thinking, him start to look on the man like the man a idiot, the man a foolish, the man wicked or something, because the man not think like how him a think. But him never examine that environment have a whole heap of things to do with how you think. As a matter of fact, it's one of the main thing that allow you to think how you think. And somehow, even though we're in an environment that make we think a certain way, we're not scared and afraid to jump. We're not scared. We jump and make it and realize about it. That environment is different from mine when the man can't think same way like me. Him can't come to the same conclusion like me. Yet there's certain things that bind me. No matter what part of earth today, there's certain things that bind me. But it's not religion. It's spiritual awakening. The awakening that him is a human being, I am a human being. That is an animal, that is a tree, and we all know that. And we're not going to go around that. Anywhere you're going in the world, a tree is a tree is a tree. Anywhere you're going in the world, a human is a human is a human. Anywhere you're going in the world, an animal is an animal is an animal. So there's no environment that make you think otherwise. That is when you find out that you're mad if you really think otherwise, no matter where you're there. If you're there Asia, the 7 continent them. If you're there Asia, you see a man, you know there's a man that. But guess what? The reason why you know he's a man is because him look like you. Him look like you. The reason why you know there's a tree that because in your environment, something that they look like that tree thing there is a tree. The reason why you know there's an animal is because something in your environment make you know there's an animal. You can't change that. But what can change is your perspective. Your perspective. And your understanding of that perspective. And that is when now indoctrination come in. And that is where teaching come in now. Where them claim say them are teacher, but it's indoctrinate, them are indoctrinate way. Them not teach way. Them are indoctrinate way. Them want us to believe what they want them to, what them want us to believe. You know, them want to think how them think. Which is that we are doing in the first place, is that we are doing. We are think like how them are think. And if you think outside of the box, now you hear say, as we say again, he's a mad guy. Why must I say them something there? And years down the line, you can find out, say, but right, you remember that brother used to say that thing upon the radio, that dream attack, you know. Yeah, because it has been tried and tested. Over the years, we have been saying this. It's not something new we are saying. It's not something new we are saying, you know, because we say this maybe hundreds of times since we've been on this program. and we keep saying it and saying it, that there is a universal knowing. That universal knowing that man is man anywhere him go. A tree is a tree anywhere there. And an animal is an animal anywhere there. It's just simple that. All of the things come through thinking, thought, meditation, learning, knowledge, and experience. All of the things. But when you get right down to it, it's that we are search for. We are search for self. We are search for understanding of self. But guess what? Somehow we're not going to find it through the next man eye. You know, see it? The next man eye. We use so sun hot climate. When you go in Finland and Greenland and all them places, them use so cold. You know, see it? How we maneuver ourselves in this climate, yeah. It's totally different from the man come along here so now and try maneuver himself in a climate that don't have no ice and no snow upon the ground. Him feel out of place. We have to recognize that the environment in which we live in most of the time decide how we think about certain things. And we can't really exempt somebody because they come from a different environment and I think different. And react to certain things differently. Because we have a book called the Bible which shows certain things where we never use the experience. We're not living at the time when the Bible write. We don't know who write it. Sometimes we don't even know why them write it. But we hug it up and kiss it up and love it up like say, well, this is the hallmark of everything bad or good. And sometimes it don't even make no sense, but it don't matter to it. Because them they done inculcating how we already say, look here, this thing is inspired by men of God, and God said this and God said that. God talking to people. May I say, why is a weird God if he might watch you every day if he see you do something wrong for punish you? It's a weird God every day that really want you to praise him every day. It's narcissism that come like Donald Trump. Yeah, that come like Donald Trump where want praise every day. And if you don't praise him, get vexed with you. Maybe Donald Trump is God. Yeah, because we hear it is written that if you don't praise God, you're going to go feel the pangs of him wrath. That is what we hear. And we hear say if you do good, he's going to reward you. That is not something where you want to give credence to all the day of your life. And if you do it all the day of your life, it don't make no sense because we're going to go there at the same place. Continuously at the same place. Wishing and hoping and praying and all them something there. We're not going to help the African mind who we did have institutions before them take we from Africa, bring where you saw. We did have a system that bind with thousands of years before them come there. Thousands of years. We was there. And we wasn't savages and beasts. You know, see, we never live in a way where I say it's not human. We live in like human beings. And we live with the animals them that now is rotting against us. Because we want to kill them so much now for nothing at all. Nothing. Man kill animal for nothing at all. More than say because it's an animal. You have some youth go to the place. Them see a dog, them want to kill the dog, kick the dog. You see a woman throw some hot water upon a dog one day, I tell you, say, if me was government, me lock her up. But them not see it as nothing. The next day, me go down at the dog, the people in them yard, the skin of the dog red with the hot water where the woman throw upon the dog. It's a serious thing. And what if people think that way about dog? Yeah, them think that way about dog. Them don't want to recognize that a dog is a dog is a dog. And when you say you're higher than the dog, higher in what? what you hire in. Because you can't think out certain situations. The dog can't think out a situation too. The dog can't, and as a matter of fact, you know, a dog, we hear something where you don't hear. And a dog will smell out something. If you move from one place to the next, the dog will smell out which part you're there. You know, see, it's not in a human beings. I don't know if no human beings can do that like a dog. So we have our own attributes. The dog have them attributes, and the human being have them attributes. Dominion don't mean, say, you must turn the animal in a slave or eat him. That's what dominion mean. I can continue to say that because it's really a terrible thing. Where we see people, I don't know, terrible thing. Them do have no respect for each other. So them do have no respect for the animal. If you don't have no respect for each other, how you going to have respect for animal? When they don't recognize animal is the lowest form of creature. That is what you say. That is what you say. You know, see it? People look upon it that way there. But it's one life. It's one life. It's not no your life and my life. It's one life. And that we're going to continue and say it. One life. No come out of you when them say you're dead and go somewhere else. No come out of you at all. When you're dead, you're just dead. You just saw it go. You know, life not jump out of you and gone somewhere else. You know, see, the building gone to the earth, but the life remain. That is where it go. The life remain. Not your life, but life. Life. That is where it is. Life. Baba and the coming true. So the only thing I'm sure is love. Yes, and go through hard times. Bob Marley passed last year. Baba and the passed last year. But the music, they have it with still, you know. My brethren, me and him sit down many times and talk and discuss things and times, and even the things that we hear we are talk about just now. We sit down and talk about them, and I wonder how come things stay that way there, where people now see what them supposed to say. Or them a look upon a different, them a move to a different drummer, according to what them say. Move to a different drummer. African people have to wake up, you know. Yeah, man, you know, see the thing I get away, man. The thing I get away. African people have to wake up. Too much sleep and slumber go on. Too much things. Too much things, man. Things. You know, people have too much things around their mind. Warp up them brains. Make them lose focus on what they're supposed to say. It's ridiculous, man. Look how the youth them are going on the earth. Look how them are going. Youth them are going away, you know. Them really are going away. So what we are going to do about it? What we are going to do about it? Because them have to see something different, you know. And the reality where them are see is illusion. A whole heap of things where them claim say is real is fantasy. Because they are sold fantasy and things say it's reality. That is what really, and not even them alone, but most of we are search for fantasy. And we think say it's reality. And we need to come out of that. We need to separate reality from fantasy. When a man come and tell you some argument about this and that, I say, how that possible? You must say, no worry about that, man. God can do everything. You say, but me don't like no him do it. You understand? It's just simple that. You don't like no him do it. But them say, don't question that. Don't question that. You'll find yourself in a problem. That is what them really I tell you. But we, in this time, we are not going to take no for your answer. You understand? We're not going to take no for your answer because there are answers. There are questions and there are answers. Because, you know, when you have questions, you must have an answer, you know. Sometimes there's more question than answer, but the answer they're there. And it's true what we call investigation that you're going to find the answer. We need some answers, you know. We need some answers because see we are and see the one them are come behind I and the one them are come behind the one them who are come behind I. Answers is necessary and important. Why we can't find the answer? Why we can't get the answer? We need the answer. We need answer. Just that. Because answer is what will make we feel justified in doing or not doing certain things. Akibeka, the late Akibeka, otherwise known as Van Benjamin, yeah, man, open up reggae in the Virgin Islands. Yes, that's a serious thing. Brethren pass away. So, we'll talk about the ideas that we surround ourselves with and how we use those ideas at our detriment. Because it's not our ideas. It was inculcated in us from time and time and time. And we hand it down to our children and it down to their children. So it become like it's part of us. But it's not really part of us. Because we have to go back, far back. We have to go back far back to realize it's not we. It's not we. So we know that it's not we because we come realize something else that is we. This is more than we are now. So, yeah, man. May I tell you, yeah, listen to the words. Yeah, listen to the words. I want to listen to the words. Some serious tune we are playing now. It might not be everyday music on radio, but it's everyday music that's supposed to be heard. Yeah, man, a whole lot of people want to hear the same music every day, but we have so much music with so much ways and what we want to bring across is in the lyrics of the music them. Sometimes it's in a rhythm too. Yeah, sometimes where we are trying to say all in the rhythm. So, yes, we play brand new, we play roots, rock, reggae, all of these things. But it fits within the context of something. Yeah, when I just play it wild, so we have to come to a fullness of self. That is really where you want to get for where we are talking about. Because most of the time when people are talking self, them are talking about, you know. Yeah, man, I say, boy, he might try to find himself. Him no last, you know. But it's a metaphorically speaking. He want to find himself. There is a self that him talk about that is inner. You know that inner self. That inner self. When people say him hear something that talk to him from inside. It's not nobody attack to him, it's not no spirit attack to him, it's him attack to himself. But him don't utter it through his mouth, him utter it in his head. Because that is where your brain's there. And everything connect to that brains. You understand? It make you bring up things where when you're picnic, it's still in your head, you know. A whole heap of things what you do when you're picnic, it's in your head. Memories store up in your brains. Things where you want to store up in your brains too. Because there's nothing coming to you outside and going in your brains, you know, when I'm going to say, you know, we just coming in my head a while ago. I mean, everybody use it still. I'm going to say, boy, something just coming in my mind, you know. Not coming in your mind. It's in there already. You know, see, India, it did India already. Just like when I talk about God, like God out the so. You know, see, when I talk about God, he say, God out there that come down. God that come down from where server him there. God not come down from nowhere. God is here, there, and everywhere. You understand? When you look upon everything, you must see the manifestation. So, certain language kind of thwart the logics. And we have to really get down round the language. Because the language is one of the impediment of our understanding of self. Yeah. As we said before, the four corners of the world, people say the four corners of the earth, you know. It's normal to say that. People just say it without thinking. But if you think about it, you realize it don't make no sense. And who make it up, they believe something else. So you have to follow the logics. And the logics is because the man who said first did actually think that the earth did have four corners. You come know that now. You don't want to say the same thing, but it is embedded in you already. It's done embedded in you long, long time. You know, see it. Only part of things what we say. And even though it sounds like it's not important, it is very important because it maintains the white supremacy that we are talking about. Even though it looks simple, it maintains the white supremacy in our consciousness and our thinking, that we can't go beyond that thinking and beyond that consciousness because we continue to think that way, and it leads us into more illusions and delusions. It frustrates with thinking, but we don't know, so it's frustrating it. Because only your brains know that. You know, see it? You try to figure out something, and the only way you can figure it out is through the keyhole of another man's mind. And the other man's mind don't have nothing to do with your mind. But you continue saying the thing. And you know, say, not go so. How them get you to do that? How them get you to say something, continue over and over, year in, year out, generation to generations, and you know, say, nothing don't go so. How them get you to do that? Think about it. And a simple little thing like what I just said a while ago, four corners of the world. It might not sound like something important. Say, why Muta bring up that? That's not important. No, it's not important, but it's important to the reason, you know, we are bringing now for show you how that lead to other things where it's not true, but we have it in our head as truth. But we don't think about it. We use it as a phrase. We use it as phrase. The man who did say it first never used it as a phrase. He used it as a belief system and a fact. Him see it as a fact. Him said, this is how it go, four corners of the earth. A man I said, boy, I'm going to lick you from here to the four corners of the earth. Him say, yeah, four corners of the earth and four corners of the earth. Everybody keep repeating it, four corners of the earth. Till it becomes a part of a vocabulary. It becomes a part of our thinking. And now we're thinking different and we know say not no go so. So why we keep perpetuating it? Because we make our children them go repeat the same thing and nothing change. Because those simple little things don't allow us to go beyond that thing. You know, see, when a man I tell you, some weird thing we hear people say, you know, God will come down. You know, oh, God will come, we got it there, we got there for come down. Him don't tell you say God is omnipresent, and him tell you say God will come down from where? Him supposed to be omnipresent, him not supposed to come down from nowhere. You know? But we repeat it, we keep repeating it. Why we keep repeating it? Why we keep repeating it? You know, hear the national anthem say, about eternal Father bless our land. It's a talk about guide us from above. It's a talk about above business. What the hell is that? We come know something different now. Why we keep repeating it? Because so it don't make no sense. It don't make no difference. Muta that no make no that irrelevant now. That no have nothing to do with nothing. It have something to do with something. Because it's those things we keep repeating over and over. and then it become a part of our life, a part of our consciousness, a part of our energy. And then it thwart up our consciousness, it thwart up our mind. You know, see, it make we can't move further than that. You know, see it? Because them going to bring another argument. And the argument that them going to bring, we say, but wait, how that connected to what them did I tell we all the while? How them connected that to the way them tell we all the while? How them look around and say God not change? God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, and all these things. Yet still, the New Testament don't connect with the Old Testament. The New Testament don't connect with the Old Testament. It's just simply that. How we come to develop that breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing. Why you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And then make you believe that you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because we do it every day, and it don't come weird to it. It don't come no weird thing to it. But it's part of the manipulation of our thoughts, of our living, and how we view ourselves. And if we don't do that, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we get this psychological feeling that, right, you know, me never eat no dinner, me feel, you know, me never eat no lunch, you know, me never eat this. And you start to feel bad that anything with there, you will eat it because you say, well, you never eat no breakfast, so you have to go eat something. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And sometimes it's a psychological thing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, it's a psychological thing most of the time that you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Who set it that way? How come we find it that way? How come my grandmother did do it that way? How come my sister did do it that way? My uncle did do it that way? How come? Because so it's supposed to do. Because who says it's supposed to do it that way? It is embedded in our consciousness. Very embedded in our consciousness. And we now come out right. Because we feel say those things are some simple minor things that don't have nothing to do with nothing. You understand? And I don't know why Muta bring up these things. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. You understand? Yes. Yes, this is the Cutting Edge and IRF. We're there with you. That one they done son for me. Wise words. They don't think son for me, Rasta. All right. So we're there with you. I go through the pieces. I just try show you another perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's just another perspective we are showing you. It's not the perspective. It's just another perspective. You know, we are trying to say, think about something outside of the box and don't feel say the things them where you come up with. Do have another way if you look at it. You have things where you can look on outside of where them tell you. Because we realize that the indoctrination is deep. It's deep. And you look on the earth right now and you say something wrong and you can't figure out what is wrong. But it's wrong because you continue to do the things them that allowing it to continue being wrong. Yes. Especially African people. Especially African people. African people keep doing the same thing over and over and expect to get a different result. And that is not how it works. It don't work that way. Different results don't come because you keep doing the same thing. You have to really explore. And in philosophy allow you to explore. Philosophy allow you to go beyond what is said, what is heard, and what is felt, and use your brains. The man who is philosophical is the man who uses brains, because within that space, you can use what you come up with for something that is beyond your wildest imagination. Wildest imagination. So, I say use your brains. Use your brains. You know, you can discern what is good for you and what is not. Everybody can do that. But them don't use them brains. So what don't good for them is that them hug up. Most of we do it. Most of we hug up things that are not good for we. That is really where I go on right now. In African people brains. We hug up things that are not good for we. One time I did a defend Trump and she get in hot water with Jamaican people, me I tell you. Yes, Etana, revive herself. Yeah, she defend Trump, you know, and that tune there is a serious tune towards the whole levels there. Our life, you know, yes. This is the first program in 2021. We're there with you next year, so we're going about 30 years, you know, in the making. You know, about 30 years. I can be corrected, but about that today, I know, the 30-year vibes, you know, a long time that, because I only found who I listen, I never born yet. Make me sound like me a real dinosaur for true. Yes. She a dinosaur too, you know, all I go on, you know. She a one dinosaur too. But it's a long time. It's a long time with about. Yeah, man, it's a long time with about. And we see the work manifest out there. Because I remember when it's me one on the rails did I say what I say. Now we hear a whole heap of one I say it too. Yeah, man, remember me one did I say what I say. Now we see a whole heap of one I say it. All over the globe. All the youth them who used to listen to Cutting Edge get big now and go to university. And them go hear the same thing in the university. And we used to tell them, say, this is a, what them call it, Cutting Edge University. They never believe you until them go foreign. And you still have people who still listen. After so long, them still put them radio upon IRFM and left it there. Especially upon Wednesday night, who wants to give thanks. Give thanks to make this program be what it is. It's not just a radio program, but an institution and radio. Yeah, this is an institution and radio. It's the most taped program on Jamaican radio. May I tell you that without any doubt. When I say tape, may I talk about tape, cassette, may I talk about CD, and now me talk about YouTube. YouTube like, wow. Yeah, man, the program, they all over YouTube. If you see a little part, the youth them catch and put it up. We give thanks for that. And we will continue, you know. We're not going to stop because we're not done. 2 o'clock, little more. Because we come off at 2 and we come back at 2, from 2 to 5:45 with the stepping razor. The art of war.